Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Hey, yo. It's me. It's that TOOJIGG2 TJ Jefferson.
TJ, it's almost upon us, bro.
Can I get some?
Oh, my God. What you
sweet.
What you talking about? What you talking about?
What?
It's almost upon us, bro.
It's Rumble season, baby.
It's Rumble season, bro. I'm
Let's go.
starting to get the itch, bro. And it is stacked.
Yeah.
It's like crazy stacked right now, dude. It can go into almost any direction right now.
I have no idea who's winning this Rumble.
Yeah, like it's usually like, no disrespect to Cody Rhodes, but both of the times you were in it, everyone knew you were going to win.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious.
But like right now, it's like,
Who knows?
Who knows, dude? It's all over the place. It's star-studded. You got John, the Invisible Man, declaring himself.
John Cena's in the Rumble.
Roman is in the Rumble.
Tribal Chief is in the Rumble.
Like, I never wanted to be in this world again. It's like when the Lakers are in the lottery. Like, I got Roman Reigns in the Rumble. So, it's who else? I mean, who else has declared?
I mean, CM Punk. He cut an impassioned promo on Raw, saying he's tossing everybody over the top rope.
Even that ketchup and mustard dude, he showed up.
He called him Dusty. and he wasn't talking about Rhodes either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it's going to be great. You're going to have your usual suspects. We're going to have Seth in there and Drew in there. And right now the biggest star, or I don't know if he's the biggest star, but he's the guy who the most spotlight is on right now. That's Penta. I'm sure Penta will be up in that piece. Los Angeles Knight, he'll be up in there. Logan Paul, I'm sure, will be in the Rumbles. It's going to be great. The Rumble's always great. There's always that surprise entrant that makes everybody lose their mind, and that's what I'm kind of looking at this year. Like on the men's side, what possibilities? Like who could it be that could come out and shock us? I think it's pretty obvious that if you say his name, he'll appear. Joe Henry. Yeah. Henry will be in the Royal Rumble. I think that's a pretty good
that
assumption.
pop is going to be crazy. That pop is just going to be crazy, bro. I mean, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Number one, new TNA World Champion, by the way.
Yes.
Joe Hendry. That would be pop up. I would really love to see Nick Nemeth.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering, because another thing that we need to talk about, the partnership that's been announced between TNA, WWE, where I guess we're going to be continuing with this talent swap. So it kind of does make you wonder, with somebody like Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, will he come back? Will AJ Francis, Top Dollar, will he come back and do some crossovers? Who knows, man? It's kind of an exciting time to see where this could lead to.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget the lady side either.
Lady side, you can Jordan Grace, I think, is probably going to sign probably with NXT. I would say that's what the signs look like. So I think she'll definitely be in there. I'm hoping that my second all-time favorite women's wrestler makes an appearance, and one day we're going to give our top 5 lists of our favorite everything. But my second favorite women's wrestler of all time is Mickie James. And she had that number 1 spot till Asuka came a few years ago, and then now Asuka sits above everybody, man, woman, child, on my list. I miss you, Asuka.
Wait,
please come back.
Speaking of,
I miss the Empress.
Speaking of TNA, can we talk about what happened?
Please.
She's a racist. Whoa, she's a racist.
You know how bad it has to be when you get chance of she's a racist in Texas.
That is
in Texas. But that's what happened in the TNA matchup between Jordan Grace and Tessa Blanchard. Look,
the North remembers, bro.
The North remembers. I guess Tessa had, you can go Google it and figure out what the issues there. Her with other talent, it's very controversial that TNA brought her back. Jordan Grace did the job for her on her way out. But yeah, that was kind of crazy.
It was awkward. It was an awkward feeling. Obviously, it's going to have to be a ridiculous apology tour. and it is what it is. It's unignorable. It's definitely nothing that we want to go and completely cover here on NCW. We don't really want to give it too much time because we got stuff to talk about that's on a lighter note that our audience expects from us. We'll go CNN once we get a little bit bigger. But right now,
Noriega?
Oh, chill.
Hey.
Chill, bro. Chill. But all right, this Rumble though.
Yeah, man.
It's getting crazy, dude. Penta is being built up to be a star, handled the right way. Bro, the pyro, as a video game fan, when 2K25 comes out, I cannot wait to play as Penta, bro. I cannot wait to create a superstar and use that pyro behind him. I am pumped, and they're handling him the right way. Yeah. He's got to, if he's going in the Rumble, bro, he's got to make some waves. He's got to make some waves. He has to ride this momentum. I'm pumped for him. But I don't think, pretty sure, you know, besides TNA, of course, there's somebody who's holding some hardware that I'm sure if they were in a Rumble or whatever, they'd make some noise. And that's Bron Breakker, dude. Bron Breakker, our Intercontinental champion. Yes. Sitting pretty right now. The dude is box office, and you can find him today on the No Contest Wrestling podcast.
How about that? You know, that's how I started off the Bane show. You know, Rich asked me, you know, what we had going on. And I was like, well, I'm wearing this T-shirt, Rich, of the Steiner brothers. You know, Rich is out. You know,
check him out. You see him. Bro.
Rich loves all things Michigan, so I knew that he would appreciate the fact that,
God,
you know, I wore this shirt on behalf of the nephew and the son of the Steiner brothers, Bron Breakker, the Intercontinental champion, you know, and just a very prestigious title, this IC championship. And its lineage dates back to the first champion, Pat Patterson, and so many world champions have started their championship run by winning the IC title and then going up to that main event level and becoming world champ. So I have no doubt that he's going to follow in that path.
Now, quick little wrestling lore question. We've seen many times where the champion has been in the Royal Rumble. You think there's a chance that the Intercontinental champion want to declare?
That's interesting.
Because we've seen the big boy be in there.
Brock was in the Royal Rumble, you know. I'm hoping maybe they give him a title match. I know he's got one coming up. But you know, maybe if he doesn't have a title match, then he definitely has to be in the Rumble.
I mean, why not?
You know, you have to. That's star power, man, and he's a star, so he's got to be in there.
Exactly, and it is, like we said, it is turning out to be a jam-packed Rumble. Some stuff that we haven't seen in many years. Just to speak in more video games terms, we're dealing with a bunch of 85 overalls and up all throughout the Rumble, okay? So it's getting disgusting, and I'm pumped, dude. I got the itch. I'm out here, dude. I'm out here. But we got a guest to get to.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, your, mine, our Intercontinental champion, Bron Breakker. Welcome to the pod. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, man. I'm gonna just jump right into it. You are our second generational superstar. When it comes to, you know, going on with into the family business and things like that, it's something that I hold dear to my heart with, you know, my father and everything that he's doing, and with me going in his footsteps. So, you know, I'm sure you get the same type of cliche questioning that I get about it. So I'm gonna frame it a different way. How much does legacy motivate you?
I think it has everything to do with, you know, just my aspirations in life. You know, like I always wanted to be a WWE superstar ever since I was a kid. Just growing up watching it, growing up watching my dad, watching Scotty. You know, they're I wouldn't be here without them. And you know, I just am being in it now, I'm very appreciative of the work that they did before me, and them sort of like laying the groundwork for me to, you know, for me and, you know, my cousins or whomever would want to become a WWE superstar. That's you know, they've laid the groundwork for us to make that, you know, potentially possible to get a look. And it's, it's cool, man. It's cool to kind of be in this, me currently, being Intercontinental champion and being in WWE and being on a run, and they get to, see me and be a part of that. And, I get just their wisdom and their guidance, which is extremely important to me on my day to day. It's just, it's great, man.
We talked about, your uncles, legendary wrestlers in the game. What was it like being a kid growing up in a wrestling family? Like, do you have memories of hanging out with wrestlers when you were little? Like, what was your day to day like as a kid, realizing that your dad and your uncle were stars?
My dad was, retired from full-time TV when WCW closed the doors, and I want to say it was like 01 or 02. And then Scotty went back to WWE in 03, but I feel like I was just a little young to kind of see them like during their prime or during their main run. But I've seen all the clips on YouTube and stuff years later. I do remember like my earliest memory of seeing them wrestle was like 06, I want to say. They were wrestling the Dudley Boys. And I remember watching that on pay-per-view in our living room and seeing that. And, it was a tape show. So my dad was sitting in the living room with me while we were watching it. And it was pretty cool. But I wish I could have been old enough to be, watching them as it's going on in real time. That would have been sweet,
Well, I tell you, as someone who was old enough to watch them in real time, it was amazing, because when the Steiners came out, you knew somebody was getting murked that night, and it was going to be vicious. and you were going to see moves that you were like, how's a man that big doing that with the suplexes? And, they were great, man. It was an awesome time to be a wrestling fan, and it was awesome being able to grow up and watch them. And when I was a kid, Bron, I would say I was in maybe my senior year of high school. I lived in a town called Altoona, Pennsylvania. They had a match. I was covering this for my school newspaper, and I went into the parking lot of the Jaffa Mosque, and I got to talk to Samu of the Wild Samoans and your dad and your uncle. And I think I want to say your dad and your uncle had a minivan, if I can recall this correctly. And they sat on the hood and they chopped it up with me for about 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, this is crazy, man. Rick and Scott Steiner are talking to me right now. And I'm writing this story for my school newspaper, man. And it was an awesome memory of those two.
Yeah.
So that's cool, bro. Yeah. That's really cool.
And as I showed you before we started, I wanted to pay homage a little. So I broke out my Steiner Brothers T-shirt,
Look at those Michigan jackets. See, when I was younger,
that's cool, dude. I don't have that one.
Well, I tell you what, I'll find an address for you. I'll send you one.
Now, when I was younger, I was going around, on tour with my pops on the Up and Smoke tour, and so like I understand. By the way, nobody do the math on how old I was when I was on that tour, but when
be doing it Up and Smoke tour, I'm sure.
So I'm on tour, and I'm just get to see my dad, just like be in his element, just be that guy that was the guy before he was my guy, and it was something in me that kind of hit where I was just like, man, like the entertainment bug kind of bit me. When do you think the wrestling bug bit you from watching the tapes?
I remember, I was always playing sports growing up. I was a 3-sport guy, so I was busy constantly. I was always at the ball field or at the football field or on the wrestling mat. I was always doing something sports related. So I was busy, man. My mom took me all over the country, just you name it, with all the sports, man. We were in the car constantly just driving to all these sporting events. But I remember like WrestleMania was in Atlanta. I want to think it was like WrestleMania 27. My brother got tickets to the show, and he went, and he came back with like a commemorative cup, and it had Triple H on it, and The Undertaker, and Austin and Cena and stuff on the card. And they came back with the cup. And I started kind of got interested in like the current product at the time and started watching a little bit and there, and started watching more and more, and just kind of fell in love with with the sport over time, just from that cup.
Shit, man, I feel you. Just going
commemorative cups do it, man.
Right? Or just that book, that book you get when you go to these big events. It'll get you every time, dude. Now we know about your football background. Is that where that spear comes from, bro? That aggressive spear you have?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that when I played ball, I was just, I could move. I was, I had some speed. I had athleticism. I had the stuff that, makes up a football player. But I took pride in being like a really violent player. I was just like that old school mentality of like when people showed up to the game or people tuned in to watch me, like somebody, was going to get laid out or I was going to put somebody on their back. I mean, that's just the way that I played the game. I just showed up and I had to just wreak havoc, Yeah.
So you were a star running back at Kennesaw State. And I've watched his highlights, and it's funny you brought the spear up because if you didn't, I would. There are definitely clips in his highlight reel of him playing linebacker, right? Like you were a running back, but were you a D-end or a linebacker? I think you were a linebacker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was recruited out of high school as a linebacker because I was just a nasty player, man. I was just a defensive guy, and they sprinkled me in a little bit on offense here and there just to kind of use the talent that we had on the team in order for the team to win. So they would spread me out sometimes, throw me the ball. It was like I was a utility player on offense. I could play running back, play slot receiver, I could play split. But I was primarily a defensive guy. And then I went to Kennesaw as a linebacker. And then after my freshman year, I played, I got probably 4 or 5 games in. I'd be a rotational guy. I'd get maybe 10, 15 snaps a game, maybe less. And then spring came around after my freshman season. We had some people change schools, and there was an opening at running back, and they just brought me in and said, hey, this is what we think is best for our team to succeed. This is what we think that we need in order to, be successful next year. And, I said, yes, sir. And just went because I ultimately wanted to win a championship, and that's what we ended up doing. But, it was the perfect fit.
And as I was saying about looking at his highlights, I counted at least 7 spears in your highlight reel. And if you haven't seen it, guys, just go look it up. Find his high school reel or college reel, I guess, and you will see some just perfectly executed spears, decleating running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends, wide receivers. Anyone who had the ball got dealt with viciously and violently. And, it was just, he was obviously just preparing for the future. Because,
man. I mean, we gotta ask which are his favorites.
All right, so let's ask that. We're big on lists here, Bron Breakker. So I got to ask you real quick. Give us your top 5 spears in the history of pro wrestling. Like which wrestlers, and you can add yourself in this, give me the top 5 guys who give the best spears or gave the best spears in the business.
I feel like I got to be penciled in somewhere. I think...
Yeah, you
do. I mean,
that's why I said you can add yourself.
At least in today's era, I just don't think nobody does it like me. They can try to do it. I encourage other people to do it if they want to do it because it just makes mine look that much better. Because what they're doing is not what I do.
Yeah, for sure. I
think we got to pay respect to Roman. I think Roman, has, he's been doing the spear for as long as I can remember, and he's the top guy. I think Edge is another one.
He definitely got busy.
Goldberg is one. I think Rhino is up there too.
You're hitting all the ones
for sure.
Yeah, those are. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Charlotte's gotten some good use out of it too.
Are we putting you in at 5?
Yeah.
We putting you in at 5, bro?
Yeah, wherever. That's something I just let. I just leave open for interpretation. I just let people,
decide on their own.
All right. Well, I need to know about yours. I need to know when was one time where you gave somebody a spear where you thought like, oh shit, he really got all of that one.
Yeah, I mean, so I was wrestling Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title the second time, and we're trying. I've been like, I'd been in the lab for a couple weeks trying to figure out just like the core 4 or 5 things that define Bron Breakker as a character. When you see me work, you're gonna see these XYZ. In developmental, there's just down in NXT, there's just a lot of endless amount of resources in order to figure those things out or train. And at the time, I was just kind of like, I was kind of like trying to figure that out. And we had a match, and Tommaso suggested it, and he was like, well, what about a spear? You're a football guy. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And then I just had never, I haven't, I haven't given someone a legitimate, spear since I played.
Okay.
So I did it how I know how to do it.
Viciously.
And I hit him, and he went down, and we did the match, and then I came to the back, and Sean and everybody was like, that's it. We need to see that every time you're out there.
Amazing. Like I said, from the clips I saw, and I'll show you when we're done, he was laying cats out. It was violent.
He knows nothing else, man. What do you want him to do?
One speed, one way. And to touch on the football thing again, now you got to spend some time in the training camp of the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, probably soon to be 3-time MVP. What did you pick up there with your time? Did you have any good Lamar stories?
Yeah, I mean, I was very, very thankful for my time there. Part of me, wishes I could have, gotten a little bit more out of that, but it was just, times were tight, especially that year because it was the COVID season. So roster spots were extremely limited. I think they were only allowed to have like 80 guys involved with the program, like no matter what, like guys they wanted to sign to work out, practice squad, active roster. Times were tight. So it was a cool thing to be a part of, man. It was just, I went in as a fullback, on paper, because that's what we ran the triple option coming out of college. And, I got there, and I was like, legitimately like one of the top 4 fastest guys in that roster. And my second or third day being there, they were like, you need to go to the other field, dude. Like, you need to stop running with the, because we used to run with groups. It was like skills, mids, and bigs. And I was running with the mids, like the fullbacks, tight ends, linebackers. And, I was bringing it every day. And, we got a couple days into like preseason stuff, and they were like, you need to go to the other field, bro. You need to go. So they moved me to running back, like, my third or fourth day on campus. And then, I was in there with J.K. Dobbins and Justice Hill and Gus Edwards, and I was rolling with those guys. But it was a cool thing to be a part of, man. I mean, Lamar is crazy. I mean, he's a freak, bro. He's crazy. I remember like one time we were in practice, and we were scrimmaging it was like ones versus the ones, and they ran like a pass play, and Lamar's got the ball, and he's just scrambling around in the back, and he made like 4 or 5 guys miss, and we're not talking like just we're not talking like lower level guys. I mean, these are like top 5 draft picks that we got in our squad, or just people. I mean, he's insane, bro, insane.
As TJ told you, we like to do lists around here. Okay, now can I get into my fun question?
Please do.
All right, so
it's the one that everybody wants to hear.
All right, so this is our show's staple right here because everybody loves a good draft list.
A list that you've been a part of too. By the way.
Dude,
his name is
CM Punk.
His name has been mentioned.
Yeah, CM Punk put you on his list. So, we're not telling you that to do nothing but boast you up.
Yeah.
Now, there's 50 guys in a bar.
50.
And they don't want you in there. You need to pick a team of yourself and 4 other wrestlers to make sure you're getting to the car.
They got some Bron Breakker haters in this bar.
Okay. Main roster, is it everybody?
You on the main roster, bro. You can do what you want.
You can pick whoever.
Man, I feel like the Creed brothers.
Oh, wow.
Those two.
Okay.
Tony D. Tony D's in NXT, but he's a Division I All-American.
You're like the third person who's mentioned Tony D, by the way.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah, Tony D can go.
So we got Brutus, Julius, Tony.
Brutus, Julius, Tony. CM Punk's fought in the UFC. That'd probably be my fourth. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of dudes I would like to have in my squad. Dude, we got some dogs on our roster.
All right, so we got the Creed brothers, we got
the
Tony D, and you going CM Punk?
Yeah, I'll go CM Punk.
Hey, that's not bad, dude.
That's not a bad little.
It's not bad at all.
I think you're gonna make it to the crib all right there, Bron Breakker.
Right, somebody who when we asked each other that list, somebody that TJ picked is somebody who you had a great run with. Can you tell us a little bit about Baron Corbin and just everything that he brought during that time?
The War Dogs.
Yeah. We that was so much fun, man. It was just it was a cool time for both of us because I got to introduce like a different side of my character that we hadn't seen, which is a bit of a more like funny, like sort of a side that people could learn to like. And he had been in a tag team role with a bunch of people prior to, but I feel like his and mine, our chemistry, because we were friends backstage, too, before we got together. So it was like, we were always messing around with each other and goofing off, and we had the chemistry was there. And then, we finally got to put it on screen, and it was just like, it was great. I had so much fun. I know he had great time too. It was just something that, we put it together, and it was just, we bounced off of each other, I think, like really well. It was just like, I brought a different side of me to the table that people hadn't seen. He was sort of doing the same thing. It was just, it was special at the time.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He, my very first couple of times coming to live events, he always looked out for me. That's one of my guys. And it was so cool to see you guys team up. Funny work too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just kicking ass. Like, it was some hilarious stuff backstage, dude.
Spread out just different parts of both of your personalities, and it worked. It definitely worked.
Absolutely.
And plus, when you speak of Baron Corbin, Tom Peastock, I guess is how he's going by his real name now. I'll still say this: the man had one of the greatest finishers in the history of wrestling, almost as protected as I think only McIntyre was the only one I've ever seen kick out of it. So, man, that was that move is just, I love it. I just gotta mention that. Let me ask you this, Bron, because I know for a fact, I'm sure you've been asked this question 1,000 times, but never on the No Contest Wrestling podcast with O'Shea Jackson and TJ. You are obviously the son of wrestling royalty, and a lot of wrestling fans don't understand why a son or a daughter of an established star doesn't use that last name. So do you want to just explain to the people who don't know why you decided not to use Steiner and you chose Bron Breakker?
I think like that would have been like the easy road for me, the obvious thing to do would be to lean into that name and to lean into to the Steiner legacy and stuff. It's not like I'm not doing it, you know. I mean, I'm definitely pay homage to them, you know, with my gear.
Yeah. I just
You
need
know,
you to
I mix in.
I just need you to put on some mismatched boots like your pops did back in the day. I don't know if you've done that yet. It just now popped into my head. But your dad used to wear, you know, one black boot, one white boot, or his boots rarely match. So
I felt like, you know, other second or third generation superstars before me had chosen to go with a different name and not lean into their, you know, their father or their uncles or their previous family members, and been extremely successful and had no problem. So I think, you know, for me, that's something I wanted to do. That was, you know, that was my deal. I just kind of wanted to go my own way. And everyone knows that I'm a Steiner. You know, everyone knows that, you know, I give them the tip of the cap with certain things like my singlet. I give them, you know, some of my moveset, you know, stuff is done my way, but we still are keeping some of that stuff alive, like the Frankensteiner, the Steiner line. That stuff is still very, very, very much in my moveset.
The barks.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, some of that stuff is still very, very prevalent. So I'm doing it my own way, but I also, you know, I pay my respect to them, and I still give that Steiner, you know, energy off. But I think, you know, it's just, I just kind of wanted to, you know, I knew that was the easy way. I just kind of wanted to go the tougher way.
Respect.
Yeah, and it definitely is cool when for people to have that aha moment, you know, that feel I'm like, oh wow, and piece it together on their own. But I want to applaud you for taking the Frankensteiner back. They like, you know, there's a lot of talks about, you know, the Hurricane and things like that. So I applaud you for taking the Frankensteiner back.
You know.
Yeah, I do. I got my own little spin on it.
Yeah.
You know, Scotty used to just he used to do it in the middle of the ring when he was younger, and then, you know, later in his career, he used to go up to the top, but he used to just kind of walk up there.
Yeah.
And I spent some time on live events in NXT, you know, like, cause I would do the move, and I wanted it to mean something, wanted it to be special, because it is, you know, it's a legacy move, but it really wasn't getting that sort of reaction from the people when I was doing it early on. So I had to like figure out like, okay, how can I do this the Bron Breakker way, but also doing the Frankensteiner and protecting that move at the same time. And then one day I was just at practice, and I was like, you know what, like, screw it, bro. I'm just gonna run up the ropes. So I ran up, I got up there, and I was like, oh, boom, and hit it. And I was like, that's it.
It's so ridiculous. Like a dude that big, that size. First time I saw you do it, I was like, what the hell was that?
Man, screw it. I'm going to just run up the ropes. Like,
it's hard, though. I will say, I mean, it's hard, bro. I've fell quite a few times just like trying to get that muscle memory down to where I can do it routinely. But yeah, it's that was just like an off the cuff thought, you know. I tried a couple different things. Like I tried jumping to the top rope, just like straight flat footed, doing like a vertical jump one time. And I did that, and it was just kind of like so, you know, and then I climbed up, and it's just stuff wasn't working. And then I was just like, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to run up.
You know, you talk about making things, you know, look easy, and it kind of is how you've made your career look. You signed in 21, you were NXT champion by 22. So you really like took to this, what's the saying, like a fish takes the water. So I'm wondering, was there any piece of advice that your dad or your uncle gave you about the business that came to fruition? Like for me personally, I know that as I've gotten older throughout adulthood, there have been times in my life where something's happened, and I'll think back like, oh, my grandpa told me that, or my mom or my dad told me that. Is there something that your dad or your uncle told you about the business, and then it happened, and one day you just went, wow, that's what Pops was talking about?
Man, they're very much involved in, you know, my daily life. When I first came in, you know, my dad was just like, man, just go down there and just lock in, and just do what you do. Just do what you've been doing in football. Just do what you've been doing in wrestling, and anything that you've done in this life to this point. Just go down there and just go maximum effort, go balls to the walls. And if you do that, they can't deny you. Mm-hmm. So I just kept my head down and just worked. And I know that's like a super, cliche thing. A lot of people say that. It's like a, overused thing, because I actually work like hard. And that was what, a lot of people didn't see, was the amount of effort and hard work and dedication that I'm putting in early on and now still. But definitely early on when I started at the Performance Center, man, it was like, we do these conditioning drills. I'm running faster than everybody. We're doing these maxes in the weight room, or these jumps, or these speed reps. I'm faster. I'm stronger. I'm, just out front trying to, sort of, like, this is who I am.
You're establishing yourself as the alpha. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I came in and just had to that's something I had to do, because I just didn't know of any other way to do it. It's just, I knew that if I went in and just control what I can control and just kick ass, I knew, I cannot be denied.
Now, growing up with the way that you have, all the work that you put in, 2 questions for you. What was a welcome to wrestling moment? One where you got put on your ass and you were like, okay, yeah, we're here now. And then also, as a fan, when was the first time wrestling broke your heart?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got good questions, bro.
I feel like my first like welcome to wrestling moment was like, I'd been wrestling at the Performance Center. So this is like not even on TV. I've been wrestling for like 4 months or 5 months. So I was still in class doing like wrist locks and, sort of learning the basics of like what we're doing. And I got sent on a main roster tour to the United Kingdom, and I wrestled 5 days. I want to say it was 4 or 5 days in a row on tour, but I was wrestling with Sami Zayn and Tommaso every single night.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing like 25 minutes every night. And prior to this, I had been like, I don't know, 8-minute like 8 minutes tops.
Yeah.
So, it was like kind of sort of like, hey man, like sink or swim.
Yeah.
You're here.
Mm.
That was kind of like my welcome to wrestling moment, because I was up there with like all the, the big hitters, and it was just like, man, I better get my ass in gear,
right.
And I think when wrestling probably broke my heart is probably when the streak ended. WrestleMania 30. I think that's the same for a lot of people, bro.
Whoa, that hurt. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, man, that's the first time that one's dropped. But yeah, bro, that was a hard one. I completely, I feel you on that. I'm still shocked. That poor man and those big ass eyes. It was just like,
that was tough, dude. Like it's crazy to watch that. If you like watch that clip back of them, when that happened, like people were just like
stunned,
hands on their head, just like,
what did I just watch?
Like, did someone
who messed up?
Did someone screw up, or like, I don't.
The ref fast counting. Something's
like, wrong.
Bron, I remember I was in my garage watching. I grabbed still had the Apple TV remote at that point, and I was like, "Oh, the feed froze!" Like, because everyone sat there for shot. I was like, for a second, I was like, "Okay, something happened." I'm trying to rewind. Like, this didn't just happen.
Like, please, somebody's music hit, please.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, dude, it was just uncomfortable in there. Like I remember too. Like after he lost, they just like, man, there was just like this silence,
eerie,
just in there, and everyone was just like, what the hell just happened? You know, it was just like
so true.
crazy.
Oh man.
Oh, let me ask you this, man. Because you've been both. What are you more or most comfortable as a baby face or as a heel?
I like being a heel much more than I do being a baby face.
It's so fun.
Just
Because
because,
not to interrupt, it looked like for a minute there they were about to kind of make you a face one week, and then it was like the next week. Now you just went and crushed somebody. So
yeah, I love being a heel, you know, more than I do a baby face, just because, you know, that's more natural. It comes more natural to me to just like be a violent, unhinged, just lunatic. I think I take much more to that well than, you know, babyface. I mean, I've only had, you know, I had one babyface run when I was in NXT, but that was like such an on time where I was just like I had to figure things out like so fast to where like I didn't really know like the actuality of like what's the baby face and what's a heel and how to act and mannerisms and how to, you know, my camera cuts for my facial shots and stuff on TV. I just didn't understand that at the time. So, you know, I feel like I'll definitely get back to being a baby face at some point in my career. That's no doubt. But, you know, it'll just be much better this time around just because I'm solely alone, just because I'm more educated on that. But being a heel is just so much more fun, man. It's just, I don't know. Some about just being an evil, just crazy ass dude is just like, that's like right here. Just hits home. I don't know.
all right, well, Bron Breakker, I want to let you know that we are inducting you. This is a big thing into the No Contest Wrestling Podcast Hall of Fame. So congratulations with that, sir. And,
Let's go. Let's go.
So let me ask you this, right? Because the career of Bron Breakker, let's just be honest, man, you're just getting started, and you've got hopefully a good decade or so, if not longer, ahead of you. So I'm going to ask you this. Normally, you know, with the veterans, I say, you know, let's give me a few matches that you'd want to play on a loop for your Hall of Fame reel. But like I said, your career just getting started. So here's a question I asked Obafemi, and I want to ask you. You familiar with Back to the Future? The movie?
I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
All right. So the movie, Doc Brown has a time machine made out of a DeLorean car. So let's just assume that Doc Brown's got that DeLorean time machine running, right? And you're going to hop in the car with him, Bron Breakker, and you get to travel back in time, and you have to pick 5 wrestlers to test yourself against in the main event of WrestleMania. Give me like 5 WrestleMania main event dream matches.
I feel like my dad and uncle are number one on that list.
Nice.
Man, if I mixed it up with, if I wrestled my dad in like 93, 94, when he was a monster, like we could have made something like extremely special. Same thing with Scotty, you know, like, I think that would have been really cool. Man, I feel like Austin would be one for sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he would be awesome. Maybe Brock.
Oh,
Brock would have been cool. He was just a freak show. How many was that? 4?
That was 4.
That's 4.
Rick Scott, Steve, Brock, and
one more.
Probably the Undertaker, man. I got to
So
do a little bit with him. But, well, probably not that. But I got to mix it up with him a little bit in NXT towards the end of my run down there, and it was it was cool, dude. Like it was just such an honor to be a part of anything with him, you know, because he's the Undertaker. So, I mean, it was like really wish. You know, I would definitely love to work with him. That'd be awesome.
And you got chokeslammed for no reason
Yeah,
So
disrespect.
it was disrespect for him to
Disrespect
come down
was
to your
crazy.
house because he didn't even go there, as
even go
Bianca
there.
would say. And he came down and choke slammed you. So I think the get back might be appropriate, Bron.
Right?
Dude, Bron, dude, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us the time of day.
Yeah.
We see you in the car, man. My man is busy. He's got places to go.
Yeah.
Enjoy
I
your
got
day.
people renovating my kitchen right now, so it's noisy in there.
That's
feel
really
like I'll
nice.
just come out of the truck.
I didn't know
Dude.
if we were holding you up for something. But hey, before we let him go, I do got one
No,
last
no, you're good.
I got one last question for you. It's about family. Your cousin Brock, Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
He's been, that picture that came out with Scotty's like chainmail, he's played football at Jackson State.
Yeah.
Word is that
Jacksonville State.
yes. Word is that, he might be looking to come into the family business. Am I pronouncing the last name right too? Rick Steiner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you guys the new bloodline? Are we going to see some more brothers and cousins and maybe sisters come up and join the family business?
He's coming.
Yeah.
He's coming.
All right.
He's coming. I got Brock's probably going to be the first one. And then my cousin Brandon is a basketball player at Virginia Tech.
By the way, I've seen some of his highlights. Brandon is nice.
Yeah, he's a point guard.
He's nice.
He's a young buck, but he's a stud. So, if he doesn't go to the NBA, which is, I know that he has talked about, that's something he wants to do, but they're coming. They're coming.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
That's great
right.
news. You know what I'm saying? Bron, we appreciate you,
My man. Yes, sir.
Go have a stuffed crust on us, man. Go get you some pepperoni, bro.
Hell yeah, dude. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Have a
Pleasure's
great
ours,
day.
man. The Intercontinental Champion of the world, Bron Breakker.
Sure.
Bron Breakker. Man, Bron Breakker.
How about that?
How about that, man?
The future is right there, man.
Asked him if he was going in the Rumble.
Oh, I forgot. Completely
should've
forgot
asked
to
him.
even say anything.
You know what?
That was a great interview, man. It was great to chop it up and
I'm
get to know
declaring
him.
them for the Rumble.
Oh, well, I'm also declaring myself
Yep.
for the. You think they'll let us in?
Nope.
Okay. Damn it. Well, as always, now I'm disappointed because I might not get in the Rumble.
Yeah.
But just make sure you follow us on all our socials just to make sure that there's No Contest on Twitter, No Contest Wrestling Podcast on Instagram. Find all of our videos on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page. You can follow him at O'Shea Jackson Jr. And you can follow me
everywhere.
at 2Jiggy or TJ Jefferson on Instagram. And maybe we should tease a little something to the people. We got a little bit of news that is matriculating its way. Oh, yeah, brother.
They're starting to pay attention to you guys.
Yeah, up and down the No Contest pod ladder. Yeah, bold to say.
Yeah.
So why don't you let them know? Maybe we're teasing a little.
Yeah. We might, for all of our day ones, the people who have been supporting us, retweeting the videos, commenting, liking, even the disrespectful ones.
Ain't been many of
we
those,
just
though.
wanted to, thank you guys. And, there's word where, we're still trying to figure it out, but they're starting to notice you guys, and we might have something really special for you guys. But
Matter of
still
fact,
up in the
we
air.
will have something. I'm just putting it out
Oh,
there.
you gonna put it
We'll
out
put
there?
it out there.
Game
Next
is
week.
in the refrigerator already?
Next week, we're going to have a little announcement to make. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay. Hey, remember, TJ said that, and I said something different. This has been the No Contest Wrestling Podcast.